Hello, good day. Welcome to our discussion today. My name is Lola and
My name is Hayo.
so today we're looking at a topic about schools, universities actually setting dress codes for their students, and we're looking at it from a point of view of isn't that like infringing on the students' freedom? Is it okay? That's just what we're looking at, like perspectives. I know this has generated a lot of discussions already, and some people are like it's okay, and some people are like, it doesn't go well with the idea of freedom. So that's what we are looking at. I'll let you start, Ayo.
Okay. Well, when I saw that topic trending, and I saw a lot of people sharing their perspectives on it, some I agree with, some I don't agree with. But for me, I grew up in a university environment, right? And I have a good picture of how I believe the university environment should be. It's an academic place, and as far as it's an academic place, I believe that there's a lot of freedom, that is allowed in the university environment. And today, when we look at some nations, I believe one of the issues that they have with the quality of the kind of graduate they produce is because of how the university education itself has been presented to them. It has been presented to them in a way of so much of control, where students, rather than see lecturers as, senior colleagues, are really seeing them as like bosses, rather than see them as leaders, they see them as, I'll call them dictators. I experienced a few while in university whereby, sometimes just to go and see a lecturer to do his job,
Yes.
right? You find the lecturer loading it on the students.
Like students are scared of them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So and I believe that really affects, the quality of the kind of education that university students get. Don't let's forget that university is not the same as secondary school. University is an academic environment, a place where ideas are welcomed. That's the truth. As absurd as it may look, right? I'm driving at the point here, and for me, when you begin to control, right, one of the things you begin to do is that these ideas that change the world, you begin to constrict humanity, begin to constrict students from expanding into those ideas, which is negating what the university environment is supposed to be. You can imagine the university environment is a place where you can believe there is no God, and it's fine. I'll even take us back to memory lane. You can imagine when the whole world believed that the world was flat. An academic person, a learned person believes that no, the world is round. And today, that has been found to be a fact. So for me, the university environment should be a place where there's so much liberty that, as absurd as people's idea may look, right, they should be allowed to thrive. Do you get my point? Because I just imagine someone like Elon Musk, for instance, coming up with the idea that, hey, we can reuse rockets in a age where even for people to launch rockets was still a problem, and today he's almost 70% done with that, and he still believes that, see the crazy idea, believes that it's possible for humanity to live on Mars, and he's working towards that. That's a crazy idea. And it's only in university environment I'll believe that such things should thrive. But by the time you start to motto students, as little as dress code could be. Do you get? Why should a university undergraduate be dictated to on how to dress? I don't agree with that. I believe there can be engagements, right? About dress decently, be decently dressed, dress decently when you're coming for lectures. There are certain dressings that are appropriate for lecture rooms. There are certain dressings that are appropriate for when you want to go for a game or a party or a sports event. Just dress appropriately for different occasions, but you can't be dictated to us, right? I remember when I was in university, the first time I saw somebody wear the Yoruba attire, the agbada with the trainers, it looked so weird to me, but that was the first place I experienced it, right? And today, it's far becoming a norm, right? And everybody seems to accept it and be like it's a normal thing, right? So I believe that for university environment, dress code does not necessarily work for me, because when you start with that kind of control, where does the control stop? That's the question. Where does the control stop? And that's why when you look at the African setting, or I'll localize it, the Nigerian setting, there's less innovation coming from our university environment, even though we are churning out thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of graduates every year. The question is, where are the innovations? Where are the innovations? So we need to go and ask, how is our university system like? What are the things that are, affecting the creative ability of, humans in the university system to express themselves? And that's my own view to it, to say, what, I don't agree. That's what's true. I don't agree with dress codes, because once you start with dress code, then next thing you are going to be making lectures compulsory for students. When you're in university, lectures are not compulsory. So far you are ready to write your exam and your tests. It's not compulsory. You don't necessarily. So you get to university environment, sometimes you see lecturers saying that students can't come late to my class, blah 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 blah. No, I don't agree with that. Students can come late to class so far they don't cause distractions. The first time I had a lecturer sitting us down in the university, I think I was in my 300 level at that time, I said, what, this is a class, this is a university, you don't have to come to class, but please, when you want to leave, if you know you're leaving the class before the end of the class, ensure that you are not staying in front. Just sit down towards the end of the class. If you know you came late to the class, just come in and find a seat behind, and that's just it. Come in gently so that you don't distract every other student. And I think that's what we should encourage in the academic environment that we have in Nigeria. And really that's my own view to it. I don't agree with and whenever you see any student sometimes probably dressing inappropriately to different occasions, as a lecturer you can sit down. Don't even see me as a lecturer talking to you, see me as a senior colleague talking to you. This is an academic environment, we're just having a chit chat. This is why I believe this dress is not appropriate for this place, and look at everybody, we are here, we're serious and all of that. But you have won now is causing distractions. What's the goal? What's the end goal here? You get my point? And I think that's what the conversation should be like. And in the university environment, I don't think you should have the fear of people will misuse freedom. I don't agree with that. I don't think so. I believe that the university environment should be free for everybody. Should be free for people to express themselves, because in the expression of people being able, in the place of expression is where there's creativity, is where ideas are battered. The things that happen today that we see, someone said you'll be able to have a phone that you can call someone in another country. That seems like a crazy idea, right? But there's a minimum level of liberty that you must experience to be able to think like that, and that's why you see a lot of Nigerian graduates, a lot of people lack critical thinking in a way, and these are things that I believe has affected them. Over to you.
Okay, so I think I largely agree with you, but I agree with what you've said, but I think I just have some little maybe exceptions. I feel like the university that came up in the news recently, they are always, many universities are always coming up with this dress code issue over the years. But the one that came up recently, like where I'm in absolute 100% agreement with your sentiment, is if you are a public institution and you're supposed to serve all kinds of people, you can't do that. There are people now that are taking to their kids to faith-based universities and all whatnot. They want them to be tailored in a certain way. And as long as the law has allowed that this place can call itself a university and, you know, vet people's dressing, tell them they have to be here at certain times and all whatnot, and you are sending your kids there, and the kids too are agreeing, they can do these kind of things there. And you know, those people don't even come up with dress codes suddenly. They have it right from when you're coming in.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you don't agree, so that's why, you know, I've heard that they've expelled students from some of these places for very little infractions to those rules. So that's what you're signing up for, and that is fine. But when you are a public institution, you know, we don't want to mention the name of the one that's been in the news recently, like you are even known for raising a lot of independent minds, and then you are going that way. And I have a theory about that. I think, you know, a lot of very religious academics are getting to the top echelon of those places, and they are bringing these things. And it's not even just a theory. I've seen it in a different place, not that school. I've seen them doing those things, and they started in their departments. You know, they started unofficially. The students in some of those places understood that, oh, if I didn't act this way, if I don't do like this, I will be penalized. Like I had then, in my own experience, I had a PhD student going to meet his supervisor for the first time, and the person telling him, this your hair that you are carrying is too much, you will cut it. And there was a subtle threat there that you will cut it if you want us to do this thing together. Like and several other cases, and it's these people
and the masters
influencing those places. And there are other people that are not even projecting as religious people. They are lecturers, they are people in those places, and some of them are guiding their careers, they are tailoring themselves to these places. So that is my theory about public universities. And I think it should be guarded against. If you're a religious person, and you know, it's on both sides. If you're a religious person and you want to champion the cause of your faith, that's not the way to do it, and it must be guarded against. You can't, you know, I saw them saying in that write-up that I read about this particular school, they said it's not final, that they are still working on it, you know, when the news came out. So they said it's not final, they've not done it yet. But I saw them saying there are things like dreadlocks, hairstyle, you know, coloring your hair, and then they said something like heavy makeup. And I'm like, who is going to determine
what
the heaviness of the makeup?
Exactly.
Who's going to determine the heaviness? I'm serious. I've heard in that same setting, it's another university, a public university, where I went for postgraduate study. I also heard someone saying that, you know, as an undergrad, she went to a supervisor, and it was actually a lady telling her that these high heels that you wear, it's not even correct. I've had people that were teaching me, they just commented and said, and you know, they said, are you a Christian? Are you supposed to be wearing trousers? Those are wrong things, and it is wrong. Those kind of things, they are the roots of where you see, we just see it now, it looks good, it looks okay to a lot of people, because they feel, because we are even under those bias. Yes, it suits their bias, yes, and they now feel it's okay. But those are the kinds of roots of authoritarian behavior that go into government, that go into affairs of society. There was a time, even abroad, some of these things are played out in another way, not with religious people, but with certain people with certain ideologies. They were oppressive over people who disagreed with them. And all of these things, they start that way. Sometimes for a young person to settle into their look, their dressing, the way they are, what they are comfortable with, they will experiment with things. And we must do it so much in these public universities that if you as a parent, you want your child to be controlled, to be told when to sleep, when to wake up, when to go on Sunday, on Wednesday, on Thursday, send them to those schools that have promised you those things. We don't want those things. We shouldn't, rather. I don't want it. But we shouldn't want those things in our public institutions. Because now, if you have a certain idea, you are using the place where you're supposed to teach people's minds to be free. And they do it, they extend it beyond these dressings. There are people that a lecturer will say, oh, we're having a presentation. I asked you a question and you responded in a certain way. Not rude though, but the person brought facts and defended so confidently. And you will see people who are supposed to be impressed by that, ganging up and saying that this person is proud. The pride there is that this person is confident and he disagreed with the theory of his professor or his doctor. They are already doing that, and these are the signs of it. And so, as a society, as a country, it should not be applauded. It should be shamed. If you want to do those things, you have beliefs. Like we said, the university is a place of conversation. Call the person that you think looks indecently dressed and say, what's going on? And that might even be a sign that you are not giving a good environment. So if they feel they are coming to do fashion show, well, that's what you are doing, because there are a lot of universities all over the world, and there's a testament that people come there, they don't do such things. There's a certain unspoken dress standard because people are engaging their minds. And it starts from some of you are even admitting students you shouldn't admit for all kinds of reasons. You are doing all kinds of things. When they say students should be a certain age before they enter the university, the same universities are the ones, playing with those rules. So find a way to work it out, not by controlling people's dresses in public institutions or any private institution that say, oh, we're non-denominational, we are not faith-based, we are not this. Don't do those things. And if you are now one that already announced that, is embedded in your rules, is embedded in your constitution, anybody that wants to be in that setting or wants their child in that setting, then you send them there. Preserve the public universities and higher institutions of learning for that liberty that is important for our society.
I agree with you. And then, in conclusion, I just believe that there's a great demarcation between what the university environment should be like. That's the academia itself, right? And what a technical college should be like, or what a polytechnic should be like, and a secondary school should be like. We shouldn't, the higher you go, the lesser the controls. That's why when you go for your master's program, your lecturer is not expected to give you a topic for your thesis. You are the one to decide on what to do. Even your undergraduate. I'm just saying, even for undergraduates, your lecturer can guide you because that's your first time of doing such things. But really, by the time these controls come in, what we would have is that, we don't know where the control will end. And at the end of the day, rather than producing, thinkers that can challenge issues in the world, you just produce people that will just, join the bandwagon, can't critically think by themselves, And I think, this is also a message that, a lot of people in universities should, or people in authority in universities should listen to. And, you may not agree with us, we'll be looking forward to your disagreement in the comment section, and if you agree with us, let us also understand why you believe what we have said is true or is right. And if there's any part of what we have said that you think, I think this part should be added or it should be moderated this way, we'll be looking forward to it. Remember to like, to share, and to follow us. And then what do you think the students should do? Please tell us. So what should the students do? Thank you. See you on the next one. Bye.